The Trump administration ramping up pressure on Cuba's communist regime, expanding sanctions as the president signals a harder line on Havana. Here he is last night addressing a club in West Palm Beach, talking about a former Florida congressman.
And he comes from originally a place called Cuba, which we will be taking over almost immediately. No, Cuba's got problems. We'll finish one first. I like to finish a job. On the way back from on the way back from Iran, we'll have one of our big, maybe the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, the biggest in the world. We'll have that come in, stop about 100 yards offshore, and they'll say, "Thank you very much. We give up."
Let's bring in Dan Hoffman, Fox News contributor and a former CIA station chief. Cuba, the communist government there, is really struggling right now, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, it is. And look, that commercial flight to Venezuela, that's kind of the model that the Trump administration would like to deliver on Cuba. We've imposed pretty harsh sanctions and increased those sanctions yesterday. We've still got the energy blockade, and the president, albeit with some good humor, is making it clear that a military response, military action is certainly not off the table. He's trying to exert a lot of pressure on Cuba. Just last month, senior State Department officials met with Castro's grandson, Raul. It's clear that the Trump administration is pursuing a couple of tracks here, a diplomatic one, with the leverage potentially not just to pressure Cuba economically, but also hold out that we may take kinetic action.
Well, and Cuba had sort of a lifeline from Venezuela under Nicolas Maduro, but he's gone now, and it appears that that lifeline has pretty much been severed.
Yeah, that one's been severed, and then the goal as well is to sever Cuba's relationships with China and Russia, on whom they've relied for economic support, in return for which China has operated signals intelligence facilities, and Russia also conducts lots of intelligence operations from Cuba. So we'd like to end that and have a lot more command and control over what happens in our own hemisphere. I think the Trump administration has been really clear on that point.
Let's talk about the European theater and specifically Germany. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced he's withdrawing about 17% of the U.S. forces in Germany. We have more troops there than in any other country except Japan. What do you think about that idea, Dan?
Well, it looks like about an Army brigade of 5,000 will depart Germany. Germany has really been a hub for U.S. military operations. We operate European Command, Africa Command there, Landstuhl Air Base. That military hospital is the largest military hospital outside the United States. It's really as much for the United States to project power, including in the Middle East during this war against Iran, as it is for a tripwire in the event of any Russia attack on Europe. So I'm hopeful that the department, that Secretary Hegseth has given that the thought that it deserves. We get a lot out of our NATO partnerships, including with Germany, Norway. We just conducted Arctic readiness exercises there with U.S. Marine Corps. There's a great deal of partnership there to protect us against not just Russia, but China as well.
Senator Roger Wicker, a member of the president's own party, seems to suggest that this drawdown, he thinks, is not in the nation's best interests. He writes, Germany has stepped up in response to President Trump's call for greater burden sharing, significantly increasing defense spending and providing seamless access, basing, and overflight for U.S. forces in support of Operation Epic Fury, prematurely reducing America's forward presence in Europe before those capabilities are fully realized, risks undermining deterrence and sending the wrong signal to Vladimir Putin. I wonder about Putin. I mean, he's got his hands full trying to win the situation in Ukraine, the war that he started. Do you think he's really going to look at a 5,000-man withdrawal and say, "Oh, I can take Germany now"?
Yeah, no, he certainly isn't. Look, and we're getting the numbers back to what they were before Russia invaded Ukraine. The Biden administration increased our troop presence in Germany back in 2022. The larger issue here is that going back to the Soviet days, Vladimir Putin wants to divide the United States and NATO, and he wants to drive a wedge between the United States and Germany. That's always been the Soviet strategy. It's Putin's strategy. And we would do well to keep whatever contentious issues we might have in the background. Private discussions are always better than airing them publicly, as we've seen the last week.
All right, so, well, let me let me read to you something that Gregory Meeks, the House Foreign Affairs Committee ranking member, had to say. He writes, President Trump is once again putting personal grievance ahead of U.S. national security. It will damage U.S. national security and undermine the ability of the U.S. military to operate across 3 continents. You're saying that we're just getting back to the force posture that we had prior to the Biden increase.
Yeah, and I think, frankly, we would do well to ensure that there isn't a perception that when a foreign leader or a NATO member partner criticizes U.S. Foreign policy or our national security strategy, that results in us taking this sort of action. What we need to do is, if we're going to do this and return 5,000 troops to the United States or send them elsewhere, it should be based on what's in U.S. national security best interests. And perhaps the president will address that in the coming days.
I know that Germany is one of the favorite places for Army soldiers to go if they get their choice of duty assignments. And the fact that 5,000 of them are losing that assignment is, well, it's not going to make them happy. Dan Hoffman. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, John.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.